In today's class, our focus will be on explaining right-angled triangle. You know, in our last class, we talked about the types of triangle and all the rest. So today, right-angled triangle is a very important triangle when it comes to mathematics. I'm sure you always hear about Pythagoras theorem, you always hear about SOHCAHTOA and all the rest. Before we get into Pythagoras theorem, before we go into SOHCAHTOA, I want us to look very well into understanding this special kind of triangle called right-angled triangle. What are the parts of a right-angled triangle? I explained in the last class that any triangle in which one of the angles is 90 degrees is called a right-angled triangle. Once you have this shape, 90 degrees, you call it a right-angled triangle. Now, in a triangle, there are three parts. So also in a right-angled triangle, we have three parts. Let's start from this. I'm sure you can see it very well. Let's start from the longest part of the triangle. The longest. So the longest part of the triangle is called what? The longest part of the triangle is called a hypotenuse. Say it. Hypotenuse. So in a right-angled triangle, it doesn't matter how they draw it. Even if it is drawn this way. Even if it's drawn this way. Any part of the triangle that is the longest, even if it is drawn this way, once any longest part of the triangle is called a hypotenuse. So, because in this triangle, here is the longest part, so we call here a hypotenuse. The next thing is, the next side is what we call the opposite. The opposite side of a right-angled triangle is any side across the angle. Any of the side that is opposite the angle, any of the side that is across the angle, opposite the angle, is called the opposite. You can see that we have the angle here. So, because here is across here or is opposite here, you will call this side the opposite. But it changes. In case, assuming that the angle was not here, that the angle given was here, it means that here will be opposite. Do you follow? So, because the angle originally is here, we will call here the opposite. So the opposite fluctuates. Then the other remaining side is called adjacent. What I tried to explain to you just now is that the longest part in a right-angled triangle is called the hypotenuse. Any angle across any side opposite an angle, which could be here or here, any side opposite an angle, across an angle, is called what? The opposite. So before you name the opposite, ask yourself, where is the angle? Is it up here or down here? If you see the angle here, then that opposite angle should be the opposite. Then the base angle, you will now call it the adjacent. So what do we say? Here, hypotenuse. The one opposite the angle, opposite, then this other place is called the adjacent. In our next class, we might now go into looking at Pythagoras theorem and SOHCAHTOA. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel right now.